Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read S66101, The Midwife's Apprentice, Chapter 1, The Dung Heap. When animal dropping and garbage and spoiled straw are piled up in a great heap, the rotting and the moiling give forth heat. Usually no one gets close enough to notice because of the stench, but the girl noticed, and on that frosty night burrowed deep into the warm, rotting muck, heedless of the smell. In any event, dung heap probably smelled a little worse than everything else in her life. The food scraps scavenged from kitchen yards, the stables and sties she slept in when she could, and her own unwashed, unnourished, unloved, and unlovely body. How old she was hard to say. She was small and pale, with the frightened air of an ill-used child, but her scrawny, underfed body did give off a hint of a woman, so perhaps she was 12 or 13. No one knew for sure, least of all the girl herself, who knew no home, no mother, and no name, but bred and never had. Someone, she assumed, must have borne her and cared for her, lest she toddled into the pond and changed the diapers when they reeked. But as long as she could remember, the brat had lived on her own by what means she could, stealing an onion here, or helping with the harvest there, in exchange for a night on the stable floor. She took what she could from a village and moved on before the villagers, with their rakes and sticks, drove away. The snow cottages and warm bread and mothers who hugged the babes were beyond her imagining. But dearly would she have loved to eat a turnip without the mud of the fields still on it, or sleep in a barn fragrant with new hay, not the rank smell of pigs who far when they eat too much. Tonight she settled for the warm rotting of a dung heap, where she dreamed of nothing, for she hoped for nothing and expected nothing. It was as cold and dark inside her as out in the frosty night. Morning brought rain to ease the cold, and the kick of a boot in the brat's belly. Hunger. The brat hated the hunger most, or was it the cold? She knew only that hunger and cold cursed her life and kept her waking and walking and working for no other reason than to stop the pain. A dung beetle, smelly old dung beetle sleeping in the dung. Boys in every village, there were boys, teasing, taunting, pinching, kicking. Always they were the scrawniest, or the ugliest, or the dirtiest of the stupidest boys, picked on by everyone else, with no one left uglier or stupider than they but her. So they taunted and tormented her. In every village, always, she closed her eyes. "You boys, help off. You're mucking up the path, and my new Spanish leather shoes. Away. And you girl, are you alive or dead?" The brat opened one eye. A woman was there, a woman neither old nor young, but in between. Neither fat nor thin, but in between. An important-looking woman, with a sharp nose and a sharp glance and a wimple starched into sharp pleats. "Good," said the woman. "You're not dead. No need to call the bailiff to cart you off. Now out of that heap and away." The fierce pain in her stomach made Brett bold. "Please, may I have some up to eat first? No beggars in this village. Away, please, mistress, a little to eat. Those who don't work don't eat." Brett opened her other eye to show her eagerness and energy. "I will work, mistress. I'm stronger and smarter than I seem. Smart enough to use the heat from the dung heap. I see. What can you do?" "Anything, mistress, and I don't eat much." The woman's sharp nose smelled hunger, which she could use to her own greedy purpose. "Get up, then, girl. You do put me in mind of a dung beetle, the burrowing in that heap. Get up, beetle, and I may yet find something for you to do." So Brad, the christened beetle, got up, and the sharp lady found some work for her to do and rewarded her with dry bread and half a mug of sour ale, which tasted so sweet to the girl that she slept in the dung heap another night, hoping for more work and more bread on the morrow. And there was more work sweeping the lady's dirt floor, washing her linen in the stream, carrying her bundles to those cottages where the new baby was expected. For the sheriff lady was a midwife. Beetle soon acquired a new name, the midwife's apprentice, and a place to sleep that smelled much better than dung heap, though it was much less warm. Chapter 2. The Cat. Beetle liked to watch the cat stretching in the sunshine, combing his belly with his tongue, chewing the birds and stubble out from his toes. She never dared to get close, for she was afraid, but even from a distance, could tell there was a gleaming patch of white in the dusty orange of his fur right below his chin. The one ear had a great bite taken out of it, and that his whiskers were cocked, going up on one side and down on the other, giving him a frisky, cheerful look. Sometimes she left bits of her bread or cheese near the fence post by the river where she first saw him, but not very often, for the midwife was generous only with the work she gave, bitter and stingy with rewards, and the girl was never overfed. Once she found a nest of baby mice who had frozen in the cold, and she left them by the fence post for the cat. But her heart ached when she thought of the tiny hairless bodies in those strong jaws, so she buried them deep in the dung heap and left the cat to do his own hunting. The taunting, pinching village boys bedeviled the cat as they did her, but he, quicker and smarter than they, always escaped. She did not, and suffered their pinching and poking and spitting in silence, lest her resistance inspired them to greater torment. Mostly she avoided them and everyone else, hiding when she could, scudding along hidden, secret path around the village, her head down and shoulders hunched. One sunny morning, with stolen bread, biddable cheese to share with the cat, Beetle started for the fence post. The boys were already there, holding the cat aloft by his tail. His hissing and screeching sounded like demons to Beetle. She covered the ears. "Into the sack with him, Jack," cried one boy. "We will see whether a cat can be best an eel." And the sack with eel and a cat was tossed into the pond. The beetle stayed hidden, more afraid to attract the taunts and torments of the boys than to lose the cat. After a time, the tumbling sack sank into the reedy water, and all was still. "Ah, Jack, you was right. The eel took the cat right down, and the boy with the runny nose gave two apples to the boy with the broken teeth." They all went back to the fields. The beetle waited a long time before she came out of hiding and waded into the muddy pond. With a stick broken from a nearby willow, she searched through the reedy water, poking around and around the spot where the bag had gone down, working in bigger and bigger circle. Finally, near the edge of the pond, half out of the water, she found the bag, now soggy and still. She dragged it out of the water, sat back on her heels, and watched. The moment she poked it with her stick, "Nothing. Cat," she asked, "are you drowned?" "I would open the sack and let you out, but I'd be so afraid of the eel, Cat." She kicked the bag with a dirty bare feet. "Nothing." She left the bag and started back to the village. Came back, left again, came back again. "The devil take you, Cat," she cried. I'd be so afraid to open the sack, but I can't just let you be." Taking a sharp stone, she slit the bag and went behind the tree. Looking like the devil himself, a shiny brown eel slithered out, made for the pond, and the bag was still again. Beetle watched it. Nothing. She crept closer. Nothing. A sudden movement sent her scurrying back to the tree. And then nothing again. She crept up to the bag and found the scrawny, scruffy orange cat tangled in the soggy sack. Carefully, she untangled his limp body, lifted him out of the bag by his front leg. "By cock and pie, Cat, I would have you leave." Ripping a piece from the rack she called a skirt, she wrapped him tightly ran a secret hidden route back to the village, she scooped a hole in the dung heap and laid the cat in it. If Beetle had known any prayer, she might have prayed for the cat. If she had known about soft, sweet song, she might have sung to him. If she had known of gentle words and cooing, she would have spoken gently to him. But all she knew was cursing. Damn you, cat, breathe and leave. You flea bitten sad, I'll kill you myself. All day the cat lay still in his cave. In the dung heap, Beetle stole time from her chores. Came often to see him, wrap a skirt more tightly around him, make sure he still breathed. Twice she left the little bits of cheese, but they were not eaten. When she checked again after supper, as the sun was setting and the mist rising, he was gone, and the cheese with him. Nothing in the cave in the dung heap but a bit of raggedy dress and a few threads from the sack, which he must have carefully combed from his fur before setting forth into the night. And 2 days later, holiday for the village, it being Lady Day, but not for Beetle, for the midwife wouldn't feed those who did not work. There was the cat sitting on the fence post, licking his white patch to make it whiter still, waiting for Beetle and a bit of cheese. Finally, Beetle came. They sat and ate the cheese together to celebrate Lady Day, and Beetle told him what she could remember of her life, for they found each other. They fell asleep in the sun. Chapter 3, The Midwife. Her name was Jane. She was known in the village as Jane the Midwife. Because of her sharp nose and sharp glance, Beetle always thought of her as Jane Sharp. Jane Sharp became a midwife because she had given birth to 6 children. Went Sundays to mass, had strong hands and clean fingernails. She did her job with energy and some skill, but without care, compassion, or joy. She was the only midwife in the village, taking Beetle, gave a cheap labor, and Apprentice too, stupid and scared to be any competition. This suited the midwife. Beetle slept on the cottage floor and ate 2 meals a day of onion, turnip, dried apples, cheese, bread, and occasional bits of bacon. This suited Beetle. And so Beetle remained midwife's apprentice as the spring drew near and new green shoots appeared on the bare branches of shrubs and trees, and the villagers began plowing the muddy fields for the summer crops. Beetle sometimes feared that Jane Sharp was a witch, for she mumbled to herself and wants a pail of milk. They cuddled as she passed, but mostly she knew Jane was just when she first appeared. Woman neither young nor old, neither fat nor thin, with a sharp nose and a sharp glance, had a wimple starched into sharp pleats. Each morning Beetle started the fire, blowing on the night embers to encourage them to light the new day's scraps. She swept the cottage's dirt floor, sprinkled it with water, stamped it to keep it hard packed. She roasted the bacon, washed up the mugs and knives, and sprinkled the flea bane about to keep the fleas down. She dusted the shelves, packed with jugs and flasks, and leather bottles of dragon dung and mouse ears, frog liver, and ashes of toad, snail jelly, the borage leaves and nettle juice, and the powdered bark of the black elder tree. In the afternoon, Beetle left the village for the wood, where she gathered the honey, trapped birds, and collected herbs, lychees, and spider's webs, and the cat went with her. When they were cold, she accompanied the midwife to any cottage where a woman labored to birth her baby, provided that woman could pay a silver penny or the length of newly opened cloth or the best layer in the hen house. Beetle carried the basket with the clean linen, ragwort and columbine seeds to speed the birds, cobwebs for stanching blood, the browny and woolly nightshade to cleanse and comfort the mother, goat's beard to bring forth some milk, and sage tea from too much, jasper stone as a charm against misfortune, and mistletoe and elder leaves against witches. Beetle waited outside, while the midwife did her magic within. All the time they were called to a cottage. Beetle tried to go in, but Jane slapped her, calling her the clodpole and shallow brained with her, and made her stay outside where she shouldn't get in the way. Often she called Beetle in when it was over to clean out the soiled straw bed, wash the linen while Jane sharpened the new mother, sipped feverfew and nutmeg brewed in hot air. When she sent the girl back to the cottage to brew some blackcurrant syrup to fight a new mother's fever, Bill began to think perhaps she was kept out not because she was stupid, but to keep her in ignorance of the midwife's skills and spell, and she was right. As the weather warmed and the villagers began digging long furrows in the field to take the seed, Bill found herself doing more and more of the collecting and stewing and brewing, while Jane Sharp spent the time haggling over her fees. Twice the midwife refused to come to laboring mothers who had nothing to pay. So the unfortunate woman had to bring forth the babies with none but a neighbor to help. Midwife's greed angered the villagers, but they needed her, and so took out the anger not on Jensha but on her apprentice, needed by no one. Biddle endured the anger and the taunts in silence, complained only to the cat, who listened and sometimes rubbed his head and legs in sympathy. When spring arrived with soft breezes and meadows grown green, the villagers began sowing early peas and barley, followed by the village boys who threw stones at the hungry birds trying to eat the seed. Jack-Ann Weth threw stones too at Biddle and the cat who followed her, which made the villagers laugh. The Biddle was only the midwife's stupid apprentice and no care to them. One morning, not too long before May Day, Kate the weaver's daughter lay down in the field, declared her baby was coming right there and right then. Her father, Robert Weaver, and her husband, Thomas the stutterer, tried to carry her back to their cottage, but she screamed and threw her arms about. There was nothing to do but mound up some clean straw for a bed, bring the midwife out to the field. Jane Sharp looked at the girl, settled the fee with Thomas, and rolled up her sleeve. She sent Biddle back to the cottage to pack a basket of necessaries. Don't drop or forget anything, you with the brains of a chicken, and don't dawdle. Biddle grabbed the bottles off the shelf and bunches of dried herbs from the ceiling beams, surprised at how much she knew, how she could recognize the syrups and powders and ointments and herbs from their look and smell. Since the midwife could not write to make labels, and Biddle would not have been able to read them even if she could. The cat was laboring in the field, not at plowing or sowing or weeding, but at making a way for her baby into the world. Biddle watched. Jane moved the cat up onto her knees and shouted, "Push, you cow! If an animal can do it, you can do it!" And Kate pushed. As Jane, the midwife, eased the child out of his mother and into her hand, it put Biddle in mind of the time she got the cat out of the bag, and she temporarily forgave the midwife her sharpness with the magic of her spell and the miracle of her skills. After that, Biddle took to watching through the windows when the midwife was cold. In that way, she learned that midwifery was as much about hard work and good sense and comfrey tonic as spells and magic. The end.